What is up, everybody? Welcome to another therapy session with Mr. T. How you doing, man?
Hey, Foos, what's going on?
Okay, so this is the one. This is the vaunted X-Men movie series therapy session. So I'm going to start off by saying, one, yes, it is true that I despise Simon Kinberg. Yes, it is true that I despise Bryan Singer for what they've done to one of my favorite franchises. That being said, I have a feeling that I will not be very fair. So I'm saying that off the rip now, just so you know. But now, in all honesty, we're just gonna take a look at the X-Men movies, not the Wolverine movies and Deadpool, because I separate those out because they weren't really done by the two biggest. I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna be nice. By Singer and Kinberg, even though Kinberg gets a writing credit on those, he had nothing to do with those, in my opinion. Those were handled by Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman's respective teams. So I'm not counting the Wolverine movies, and I'm not counting the Deadpool movies. I'm just talking about the X-Men 1, 2, 3, First Class, Days of Future Past, God, Apocalypse, and Dark Phoenix. Those are the movies that I'm talking about. So I want to start this off with the first trilogy. And I'm going to do this trilogy-wise so we don't be here forever, because trust me, I can talk about this forever. So the first movie back in 2000, I went back recently and rewatched it just because I wanted to see, was I crazy? Now, it doesn't hold up. But then again,
no.
It was 2000. We were dealing with the CG we had at the time. I can't fault it for that. So, but going off of it, I thought the movie was okay for what it was at the time. Because back then it was said that X-Men could not be done live action.
Right.
So I questioned their casting choices, especially when it came to Storm. Yeah. But on the whole, I thought the first X-Men movie was just okay. They had the right elements there. They had Senator Kelly, even though they didn't have Project Wide Awake. In the Sentinels, they had Senator Kelly, they had Magneto, they had the Brotherhood, they had the X-Men, some of them. And they did a pretty good job with it. And Hugh Jackman, of course, was the standout because he nailed Wolverine, even though technically he does not look like Wolverine. But he nailed it. I got to give him that. He nailed it. He nailed every movie he was in. He embodied Wolverine, so much so to the point that I feel bad for whoever they cast, because they could immediately get compared to Hugh Jackman. It's not going to be fair, but that's the,
that's life. That's life.
Yeah, that's life. It is what it is at this point. But those first three movies had a myriad of problems, most of which I felt the main issue was it didn't feel like X-Men. It felt like Wolverine and the rest of those guys. So technically, to me, those first three movies were technically just Wolverine movies with the X-Men guest starring.
Pretty much.
Because it didn't have the team feel for it. And if anybody, I guess I will give you a pass if you say X2, X United, but even then I'm like, not really, but I can see where you can say that one was. But 1 and 3, no, it never felt like X-Men. Matter of fact, if I'm being completely honest, none of the X-Men movies felt like X-Men.
Yeah, none of them really felt like it.
Yeah.
Like 2 is clearly the best one, and 2 is a really good movie. But I still, because it just doesn't feel like the X-Men from the comics, the animated series in the 90s. Like it never reached that. There were elements of that, but it never reached that. And my problem with the first one, if we're still on the first one, was it was dumb. Like to me the plot, the what Magneto was trying to do, it just was dumb to me. It just seemed kind of stupid. Like I didn't find it believable. CG, whatever, that's not gonna hold up most of the time. It was just so kind of plotting and boring to me. So I liked it for what it was at the time. But even at that point, my favorite Marvel movie still was Blade, because it didn't do anything to take Blade's crown, as far as I'm concerned.
No,
as a although people tend to forget Blade when they talk about the beginning and the modernizing of superhero movies. They want to jump past Blade, even though Blade was the one that got this whole party started. But
it was, and I, for one, think that I think at the time, because once again, this is before superhero movies were taken seriously, actually, because they don't start getting taken seriously until Batman Begins, and even then, and that's 2005, and even then, you have Christopher Nolan, the way he did that was like if Batman was in it was in the real world. It wasn't in the comic book world where Superman and Aquaman and Wonder Woman and Flash live. It was in the real world if a real billionaire did this.
Well, so, I would actually say X2 was, because I remember the serious reviewer accolades it was getting. It was people talking about it beyond being in a superhero movie. So I would say X2 was probably the one that started that, and then it kind of went away and came back when Begins happened.
Yeah, but I think with that though, because the reason why I don't say 2 is because if they would have went by God Loves Man Kills, they took elements from, if they would have actually did an adaptation for God Loves Man Kills, yes, they didn't do that.
No. What I'm saying is, I don't mean as far as the comic book, tropes and everything that's both from comics. They were taking the comic serious. But I mean is that like Hollywood and
the Hollywood style. Okay, all right.
And critical reviewers were taking superhero movies more serious when it came to X2. It was like, oh, this is a different kind of superhero movie. It's I can watch this even though I'm not a comic book fan.
Yeah, because that's what I meant. Because they were still talking down about comic books. Yeah, I remember that.
Right. That's what I was talking about.
Now, the thing that destroyed X-Men for real, especially the Bryan Singer stuff, especially with Simon Kinberg, was Iron Man. That's what killed it. Because when Iron Man came out, they actually did Warmonger. They actually did it right and paid homage. They didn't act like, okay, we can't act like we with the comic book, They didn't do that. It was like, no, we embraced it.
Yeah.
We know we a comic book, but we gonna make you love it.
Right. And that was after the Fantastic Four movies were trying to take it back to the more campy stuff.
Yeah.
The more the more Batman and Robin stuff.
Yeah, which that did not go well. No. That did not bode well. But no. I think especially with the first 3 X-Men films, I think they were it was hit and miss. Because that third one, oh my God, that was horrible.
Yeah. But you know what? The third one was terrible, but I had more fun watching it than I had watching the first one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Especially, no doubt. Especially the ending fight scene on.
It was big and stupid, but I was at least having fun.
Yeah. And the other thing too, because and this is when Simon Kinberg first got there, he has this weird obsession with the Phoenix Saga, but doesn't want to do it right.
Doesn't want to take the time to do it correctly.
Yeah. So my thing is with him is, okay, how, because you got Disney Plus now, so I don't want to hear any excuse for why nobody's watching the 90s Fox X-Men animated series. You should go watch that, because if you want to do the Dark Phoenix, the Phoenix and Dark Phoenix sagas, that's how you do it.
They showed you how to do it right there.
They showed you exactly how to do it. He didn't really have to do much. All he had to do was watch those episodes. He has 2 movies right there. Of course, he'd have to expand some stuff out a little bit, and that's fine. Of course, you have to expand a little bit out, but that's how you do it. But it has to be a 2 movie. It has to at least be 2 movies. You can probably get 3 out of it, depending. depending, you can probably get 3, but it has to be 2. It has to be. And you can't make up your own stuff and then try to say that this is Phoenix. No, nobody's going to believe that. We have to have an investment in Jean Grey. If we don't have the investment in Jean Grey, the whole story doesn't work. And I don't understand how somebody who claims to love one story so much doesn't understand that.
He wants to rush to the end. That's the problem. He want to rush to the payoff.
Yeah,
you got to set it up.
It has to be a setup. Like we need at least 2 movies of us getting to know Jean and actually care about the character before you start trying to do this Phoenix stuff. And then even then, when you do the Phoenix Saga, we need at least 2 movies of the Phoenix Saga because you got to do the Phoenix Saga first, then Dark Phoenix. It's two completely separate sagas.
Right.
It's not one saga. It's 2 completely different ones. And for some reason, he didn't get that. And the main problem with these X-Men films, the way Fox was doing it was Wolverine focused and not in a Wolverine focused way. I'm like, if you're going to do the X-Men, it needs to be about the team dynamic. That's why everybody liked it. It was the team dynamic.
That is the main thing about X-Men is the team.
Yeah. If you want to do a movie about Wolverine, then do a Wolverine movie.
Lord knows you want to do those.
Yeah. So I mean, it's one of those situations, and that's one of the main reasons why I was happy when Marvel got it back, because I'm like, Marvel, after Avengers, I have complete and total faith in Kevin Feige that him and his team could pull this off. I had no faith in Fox to ever be able to pull this off, and it kept showing with every movie they did. Yes, I understand Hugh Jackman was a great Wolverine, but y'all have been giving Fox props for stuff that they didn't even want to do. Like, people give Fox props for Deadpool and Logan when they didn't even want Logan to be rated R to begin with, because Hugh Jackman had begged them for years to let him do a rated R Wolverine, and they wouldn't let him do it. And we know what Ryan Reynolds went through with Deadpool. He had to leak it himself just so people to generate enough buzz to force Fox's hand. And then when he forced Fox's hand, people still forget this. They pretty much made him do it on his own.
Right. They still didn't have enough faith in it.
And that's why he went off on them for 2 straight movies. I can't wait to see what he does in 3, because he's gonna rip them a new one. He's gonna rip them a new one when you get them off.
Completely unleashed now.
Yeah.
You got nothing to worry about.
You think what he said about DC was bad? I can't wait. So this is what it's like when I actually get money. You know, I cannot wait. But that's the thing. That's why I didn't want to add the Deadpool and the Wolverine movies, because I think people add them in to try to say Fox knew what they were doing. No, they didn't.
Nah.
No, they didn't. I mean, there's no way they knew what they were doing. Now, I will give you this. The Matthew Vaughn First Class, even though that wasn't the first class of mutants, and I have to stress that because I have to stress that that's not the first class. He could have easily just actually used the first class, the actual first class. He didn't, but that's neither here nor there. It was still a good movie because they decided to okay, look, let's do James Bond with mutants.
Right.
And it worked. And not James Bond, Pierce Brosnan, James Bond, Sean Connery, James Bond, like the 60s era James Bond. And it worked. It worked for the most part.
Yeah, it did.
And I gotta give them props for that. But that was Matthew Vaughn.
Right.
And judging by what he said he had planned for the 10-year increment stories that he wanted to do, Bryan Singer did not follow what he wanted to do. Because he wasn't going to touch Days of Future Past. Yes, I'm up to Days of Future Past now. And okay, so here's the problem when Bryan Singer came for Days of Future Past. They wanted to center the movies around the young Mystique. Now, remember, the first set, they centered them around Wolverine. This set they want to center around Mystique, but Jennifer Lawrence doesn't want to be in blue makeup all day long.
Nope.
So, we had to deal with that because she didn't want to play Mystique. Well, she wanted to play Mystique, but she didn't want to be Mystique, I should say. While they did have some cool sequences in Days of Future Past, I think they completely missed the point of Days of Future Past. Because Days of Future Past was supposed to be the Terminator, basically. Right. And here's the part that always makes me laugh about this movie. The Super Sentinels are made from Mystique. People, let me explain to you how Mystique's mutant ability works. She's a shapeshifter. She can't duplicate mutant powers. Her name is not Mimic. Mimic can duplicate another mutant's powers. Mystique cannot. So when you say that Mystique's DNA was able to make these super sentinels that can actually mimic anybody's mutant power.
Yeah, what you're really saying is Jennifer Lawrence is our biggest actor in the movie now, all of a sudden, and we have to do more with her.
Yeah. So much so to the point that you have a Hugh Jackman in here, but Hugh Jackman you don't let Hugh Jackman tear into one sentinel.
Yeah.
The perfect chance to show him go do the Berserker Rage, and yet don't let him do it. Because now you get past. So if your whole thing was we can't have him chopping up people because that'll make it rated R, he can chop up sentinels, but you don't let him do it.
No. I mean, every tease is bad enough in X-Men 3.
Yeah. So you missed that point completely. Then on top of that, the Sentinels that you should have made, the overarching villain should not have been Bolivar Trask. It should have been Master Mold, the Master Mold program, the computer program, Master Mold. That's who should have been the overarching villain for this, because a machine cannot be racist. Like in the comic, the thing was Master Mold was like, because the way Bolivar Trask designed it was they were supposed to attack mutants and protect humans from mutants, but mutants are human. So Master Mold was like, that's not logical. So I got to protect y'all from yourselves, which means I got to kill all y'all.
Right.
Which is like
when you said, a Terminator scenario.
Yeah. When you see the future part, that's what it was. He was rounding up everybody. He didn't care. So Master Mold should have been the enemy instead of Bolivar Trask. I'm like, y'all are missing the whole point of Days of Future Past. Y'all are really missing the point here. And Bishop's mutant power does not work like that. Dude, it was like issue after issue. And the problem with Days of Future Past was, okay, from a movie standpoint, yes, it was done. It was done logically from a movie standpoint.
Yeah, everybody loved it.
But the problem was, if you were an X-Men fan, you stand up there like, this person doesn't have the correct power set. This person doesn't have the correct motivation. That's not how that person's power works.
Right.
This is like, what are you doing? Now, by this point, we have the MCU that just pulled off Avengers. We have Man of Steel. We just got a Superman movie that, for the most part, got Superman right. We'll say for the most part. We're about to get Batman versus Superman. We're about to get. We just got through having Winter Soldier, probably the best superhero movie, period, ever made.
Period.
Top to bottom. And you put out this bull where you don't even, like I said, and that was my main issue with these X-Men, these Fox X-Men movies. You're not utilizing characters' powers right when you do put them in.
I don't even know what to say. It's like, how can you get it this wrong with all your resources? It just doesn't make sense to me.
Now, I did read a rumor back when the first few X-Men movies that Bryan Singer did not allow them to read comics. Okay, that's fine. If you don't want to read comics, fine. But you got Fox, the animated series. You can watch that, which they did. they didn't get everything from the comics in most of those arcs that they took from the comics, but they
I
got.
don't think that's fine.
Huh?
You said fine, but I don't think that's fine.
No, it's not. It's not. Well, I said it sarcastically.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Yeah,
but
because there was still
like,
other resources for them to watch. There was still other resources for them to get it from.
It's one thing if you as a director don't want to do that. I can understand that to some degree. But don't tell your actors don't pull from these and pull from this stuff, because you can still direct them to however you want. But let them
that's how they're going to learn the character. How are they going to learn the character?
Exactly. Let them get some layers to the character, and if it doesn't work for you, fine. But at least they have some options. At least you have more options. You want your, as a director, you want your actor to have, different takes, on something, and you want to do multiple takes. So if they don't have enough to draw from, you're not gonna have a lot of options for where you want the character to go. To me, it's just stupid.
Yeah, it was very stupid and very
arrogant. It's arrogant.
Arrogant, yeah, to the point that make no sense. Which is where we come to one of my favorite Marvel villains. Notice I said Marvel villains. Apocalypse.
Oh no!
You screwed up in Sabanur.
How? One of the coolest villains of all time. How?
No disrespect to Oscar Isaac. No. Nothing
He's
an amazing actor. He is not in Sabanur.
He is miscast. That's all.
Yeah.
It happens.
One, he needs to be CG like Thanos and Steppenwolf was.
You can't be my height playing in Sabanur. I'm sorry.
No, you can't. And once again, like I said, I like Oscar Isaac, but he ain't got the voice.
He's a great actor.
He does not have the voice.
No.
Go back and watch Fox's animated series, the 90s Fox animated series. If you want to know how Apocalypse sounds, that's how Apocalypse sounds. Unfortunately, the voice actor for him passed away in 2000. I want to say 3 or 5 or something like that. Mm-hmm. But that's how he sounds. You should either got James Earl Jones, Keith David, somebody with a commanding voice to voice a CG Apocalypse.
You got this 5'7" dude walking around with blue makeup,
looking like Ivan Ooze, because that's exactly what he looked like.
Ivan Ooze. And I'm like, no, you can't do that. You can't.
So this has to be like the worst superhero movie of all time, Apocalypse.
It's up there. I haven't seen Dark Phoenix.
Phoenix is way better.
I just refuse. But is it way better?
It's way better. Wow. It's not good. Hold on. Let me preface this.
No. We're talking about a low bar here. So
we look at a real low bar. But it's better than that bull crap. Because here's the thing that I hated about. Here's one of the many things I hated about Apocalypse. There is the best scene on earth that does not belong in a movie. It does not belong in this movie. They actually do the Weapon X breakout how it should have been done in X2 X-Men United.
Yeah.
But
it felt like it was from another movie.
Yeah. But you know something? It shouldn't have been in that movie, because if you're not going to use Hugh Jackman to help fight Apocalypse, there's no point for him being in there. So basically, you put him in the movies so you could get people to come and watch it.
That's all that was.
That's all that was.
It's a lack of confidence in what you were creating. Like, we gotta let people know Hugh Jackman's in here somehow, some way, and because they just didn't believe in their product enough. Without Hugh Jackman,
I didn't believe in their product enough. I was just dumb enough to go to the theater.
Yeah, I mean, I did too. I mean,
because I was happy because I'm like, they gonna do Apocalypse. They gonna show Apocalypse's abilities. They got his abilities wrong, which it shouldn't have surprised me. But yeah, they got his abilities wrong. People, I'm gonna explain this to you. I love in Sabanur, but if Xavier ever brought him to the astral plane, Apocalypse getting beat. Xavier don't lose on the astral plane.
Right, he don't lose on the astral plane. That was just like, no, don't even do this if you're not going to do it right.
Yeah, have it where Xavier doesn't go to the astral plane because he doesn't know how to do it yet because he's still a younger Xavier. So he shouldn't know how to do this yet.
No.
And that way you don't have to worry about putting that in. Because if he brings him to the astral plane, Apocalypse getting his ass beat.
It's a wrap.
He has never lost on the astral. Xavier beat the Dark Phoenix on the astral plane. Put that in perspective. That's a cosmic being. He brought her to the astral plane and whooped the Phoenix down.
So what y'all doing again?
Yeah. Why did you bring him to the astral plane? So it was just like it was issue after issue. And the one person, you know what? At first I didn't like her casting, but she wasn't the problem.
But you know that whole astral plane thing, you know what that was? It was people worried, oh my God, are they really gonna have a 5'7" Apocalypse walking around? And so they had to throw that scene in there to make you think, oh, maybe he's gonna be, exactly. Yeah. It was all commercial. That was all commercial play.
Because, like I said, the one person that I thought I was gonna hate.
That's what I thought. I was like, oh, okay, well maybe he's not gonna be this little dude walking around.
He was. No, he was. And
nope.
The thing that so Olivia Munn plays Psylocke, and I'm not the biggest
fan. She got nothing to do
of her acting. I'm not.
Yeah.
But she wasn't the problem.
No, she was all right actually.
She was actually all right. Of course, they got her character completely wrong, but
well, that's another story. But
yeah, she wasn't the problem. So the way they defeat Apocalypse and they kill this immortal being is Jean Grey unlocks her Phoenix powers that she manifested herself and burns him to ash. I need you to remember that. Because remember that other movie that they're going to do in 2 years called Dark Phoenix? They don't even reference what happened in Apocalypse.
What?
Yeah.
They don't reference it at all?
It's like she never had the Phoenix Force and like, okay, so she's going to, it's like she never had the Phoenix Force. Xavier met her when she was young and he sealed it to where it couldn't come out. And so now it's 10 years after that. They're all teachers at the school. The X-Men are heroes, yada, 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 so on and so forth. And when they go to space, that's when she gets hit by this cosmic cloud, and that activates her. It undoes what Xavier did, which I'm like, hold on. But she had that in Apocalypse in the movie before, 10 years before in 83.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She showed the Phoenix powers.
That's how they beat Apocalypse.
And Apocalypse. That's how they beat him.
Which,
go ahead, Jean, unleash.
Which, if they were actually going by the actual comic book abilities, Jean wouldn't have been able to do that because Apocalypse has 50,000 years more combat experience than she does. But I digress.
So that's what happens when you write yourself into a hole. Yeah, you got to do some BS to get out of it.
And the sad thing about it is now that we go to Apocalypse, up to the Dark Phoenix, the movie itself, honestly, to be completely honest, is not bad. It's way better than Apocalypse because where they didn't know what to do with Apocalypse or explain how his powers work or his abilities work. And the fact that he actually is immortal, not that he has to sit on the thing and drain another mutant's powers. He's actually immortal. Yes, there are immortal mutants in the Marvel universe. There's 7 of them. He's one of them. So
I have probably weird nitpicks about that movie. Like I said, I haven't seen it, but I never like might seem silly, but it's just like the font of the movie, like the wording "Dark Phoenix" always looked like really cheap Photoshop work to me. It looked like it didn't fit X-Men at all. It doesn't. Had this old-timey kind of look to it. I mean, I know that's a weird nitpick, but that's one of the big things that just kept standing out to me. I'm like, that doesn't look like an X-Men, type of font. Or
at this point, Bryan Singer is now gone. Simon Kinberg, who's wrote like the last 3 movies, is now in the director's chair, which should not bode well for anybody. But he is.
Not all writers can be directors.
Yeah, and boy, especially if they suck. So,
especially if they're bad writers.
Yeah. Now, in this film, we have some mutants that show up that don't even show back up the rest of the movie, like Dazzler.
Yeah.
Dazzler's in the
real
movie.
Quick to what we just said. Shout out David Goyer. Go ahead now.
Yeah, shout out David Goyer.
See what happened when he got a direct chance.
Oh God, yeah. But we have Dazzler show up, and they do nothing with her.
Oh,
yeah,
good.
They do nothing with her. Now, if you've been following along the X-Men from First Class, you got to remember James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender were playing the younger versions of Magneto and Xavier, respectively. That was in the 60s. So in the 60s, they had to be probably like, we'll just say, give or take, we'll say they're in their late 20s, right?
Yeah, because if you look at Holocaust and whatnot, with Magneto and whatnot, that would put them right around that time.
Right around that time. So 73, you can still do Michael Fassbender and James McAvoy. 83, you're kind of pushing it, but you can still do Michael Fassbender and James McAvoy. 93, if it's 93, they're in their 60s.
They're in their 50s and 60s.
They should not be played by James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender at this point.
Nope. Unless you have some amazing prosthetic makeup for them.
Yeah, they should not be playing them. And that's what happened. So at that point, I'm taken out of the movie already. Because they explained why Nicholas Hoult and Jennifer Lawrence didn't age. Okay, fine. I don't believe it. I don't believe it, but fine.
It's because is it blue magic? Is it blue magic?
Yeah, basically blue magic. So I'm like, okay, fine. That is not how their powers work, by the way.
No,
but that's fine. Oh yeah. You know what? I forgot the biggest travesty of Apocalypse. Excuse me for my favorite Asian American mutant, Jubilee, that they actually pimped and talked about how she was in the movie, and she was in there all of 5 minutes.
She was in like a classroom scene, and what else did he do? I don't even remember.
Scene, and that's it.
Oh yeah,
when they were coming from the mall, did not use her abilities at all, and they made such a big deal about it to the point that I got pissed off. So when I bought the extended edition, the roll cut, I'm thinking they're gonna maybe put the scenes with her back in there. They didn't. Yeah, Brian Singer, I hate you. So
hey guys, it's like he's actively he's Ryan Johnson. He's actively trolling the audience when he does that actively. Stuff.
So I go back. So we're back on Dark Phoenix now. Now, like I said, the stuff with Michael Fassbender and James McAvoy, they shouldn't be in this movie. It's taking me out because I know they should be in their late 50s, early 60s at some point. No.
Just no.
My deal is, okay, one, the X-Men have never been loved. They only been loved by the people they actually help and save. The American public does not like mutants, and they do not like the X-Men. No matter how many times they save them. Yeah. No matter how many times they save them, no matter how many times they team up with Captain America and the Avengers to save the whole world, America does not like mutants, and they do not like the X-Men. So to sit there and have this scene where they're being cheered makes no sense. And two, you have
kids. They got cheered?
They got cheered for like going up to space to save the and they have kids with their little action figures, and the kids are like, I don't want to be here. So it's just it's a bad sequence all the way around.
That's some Fantastic Four stuff.
Yeah, and the other thing too is they didn't do a good job of showing how the X-Men were able to fly in space. One, they did not use the X-Jet to fly in space. They actually went and got a space shuttle and flew the space shuttle in there. How did they do it? Xavier downloaded the astronauts' flight abilities into their brains so they could do this and take off and go. They did not explain that. They just said, you can do it. Explain. That's not how that works.
So MacGuffin.
All right. So,
Oh,
and you
wow.
know, you know how we've had movies where they have evil space cloud.
Oh, Jesus. Yes.
Does the evil space cloud ever work?
It never works. They keep trying it, but it's not going to work.
It didn't work for Parallax. It didn't work for Galactus and Fantastic Four. Why are you doing it here?
They
So
did the
instead of showing the
space war
bird,
cloud again. No.
yeah, instead of showing the bird, they show the big fart cloud. When they should have
No.
just showed the bird. Because here's why I'm upset about that. At the end of the movie, they show the bird. So I'm like, wait a minute. You can't show the bird at the beginning of the movie, but you show the bird at the end of the movie. And now remember,
You sure this is still way better than Apocalypse?
it's way better than Apocalypse.
Oh my God.
The reason why it's way better than Apocalypse is the second act and the third act actually make sense.
Okay.
Where the second act of well, it just got worse as the more Apocalypse went on. In this one,
worse and worse and worse.
After they kill Mystique and Jennifer Lawrence just gives the worst death since that dude in 1976 they got shot in the chest and he had to turn around 80 times and do all that other stuff.
It's like you're filming. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, just to back on Apocalypse real quickly. Just quick. Mm-hmm. You're filming, you know, again, little 5'7" Oscar
Isaac, yeah,
along with everybody else. They're going through portals all together.
Mm-hmm.
You're filming this, and you're not thinking this is stupid, man. This is this is like they're just going on. It's like a video game at that point, right? Where you're just going from level to level with your party. It's an RPG.
It's an RPG, yeah.
And you're just going all together. Level to level. It's almost like Mario Party 10, and you're all in the same. You're all in the same car together on the board. It's just like you're not looking at that, man. This is dumb. We got to change this. No, I guess not.
Well, you're gonna love the fact that they put in two mutants that's never been mutants before.
Oh no.
Yeah, he does it.
No.
One of them has dreads. His mutant power is dreads.
No. No. Oh, no.
Like I said, man. But the thing is, it makes sense in the second and third act where it's like, okay, they're trying to do something. And the thing that actually saves Dark Phoenix, for me at least, is the third act, because that's where the train sequence happens. That's where the fight in New York and the train sequence happens. And that's where they finally let the X-Men cut loose, and we see the X-Men be why you are afraid of them.
Right.
Finally. Well, and they didn't have Wolverine in it.
Oh, but did Wolverine pop up?
But the only other problem is with that, in like the other films, is the freaking god awful dialogue.
Oh man.
So none of the dialogue in any of these movies are actually good. That's why I'm like, in Deadpool and the Wolverine movie, even the Wolverine, the second Wolverine movie, X-Men Origins Wolverine, people have their issues with that because that was completely studio, even to the point where Hugh Jackman always wanted to do the Ronin arc, which is what the second movie was.
Yeah, I mean that movie was complete cheese.
Yeah, but the first one was clearly Fox wanted him to do that. That's what Fox wanted to do. The second movie, though, when they go to Japan, that's what Hugh Jackman and his production company wanted to do, and it's miles better than that.
Way better. Way better.
The last 15 minutes where they decide to fight.
Silver
Samurai. But
it's stupid. Yeah.
But the movie was great. Until the last 10 minutes of the movie, it is amazing.
Yeah.
Like the Wolverine is actually probably like the best out of that entire catalog, in my opinion. Logan, it was too damn depressing for me. But the Wolverine was like they did it right.
The best version of Wolverine you can get on screen.
Yeah. Without the outside of the ending that was just
right outside the last 10-15 minutes.
Yeah. So when you go back and you watch the X-Men films, you're like, why couldn't Hugh Jackman's production company do the last 3 X-Men movies?
Right.
Why couldn't he get James Mangold? Why couldn't that team do it? Because I have a feeling if that team did it, it would have been it might not have been by the book, but it would have been more of a cohesive story that would have honored what they are.
Right.
Instead of trying and look, I get it. If you like the X-Men films, I'm not hating on you for that. Trust me, I'm not. But there's a reason why the comic book fans of X-Men do not like the X-Men movies. If you talk to a comic book fan, they'll be like, yeah, I knew what they was trying to do. They just didn't pay attention to what the actual
it's
character.
It's just not a lot of X-Men in those X-Men
movies. It's just not. And that's sad.
And what they did to poor Cyclops, they just never gave him a chance.
They never gave. Look, yes, Cyclops. If you ask any X-Men fan, Cyclops is a major douchebag. He's a tool. We all know it.
Yeah.
But when it's go time, he's actually a good leader.
Yeah.
When it's go time. Now, outside of that, he is a simp. He's halfway a cuckold. And
he is kind of, Mm-hmm.
And he's a colossal douchebag. But when it's go time and it comes down to like, I gotta protect my mutant family, dude, you're dealing with somebody that's kind of like a Captain America, if you will, as far as when it comes to strategizing and putting his team in the right position to get the mission done.
Right.
That's what you're dealing with. And they never got to, even though in the first 3 films, James Marsden did a very good job of portraying Cyclops.
Yeah.
Those aspects of him,
he just didn't get enough to do.
Yeah, he didn't get enough to do. And then Ty Sheridan, I just the other thing you're not gonna buy in Dark Phoenix is Ty Sheridan and old girl from Game of Thrones. They have literally no chemistry. It's worse than Hayden Christensen and Natalie Portman.
I mean, we didn't get enough of it in Apocalypse, but I could see that.
It's like you could tell they didn't hang out offset because it's just you wouldn't believe it. You would not believe it. So you wouldn't even.
I mean, these are things you have to do as as an actor. Like, hey, because let's think of sports. We were talking about sports earlier. A new quarterback to a new team, he goes and he meets with his wide receivers before the season starts. Before what do you call it?
Training camp.
Training camp starts, and they're already like, not even like let's throw and catch or anything like. Well, let's just hang out. Let's have dinner. Let's talk. That kind of stuff. So it's not even about just let's sit down and read the script together. It's about let's get comfortable with each other as human beings. And if you don't do that, the camera is going to see it. Yeah, you can't hide from the camera.
It's not going to work. I mean, if you guys have watched my last therapy session that I did with Rob from Rule 2 Review for Star Wars, that was one of my main gripes about.
I'm mad I wasn't part of that, but I wasn't around. So I can't get too mad.
Well, that was one of my main gripes with the sequel trilogy. The people who had the best chemistry out of that entire cast was John Boyega and Daisy Ridley.
Mm-hmm.
If you were going to do a love story, or you were going to have a love story arc in there, it should have been between them two. If you weren't going to do that, then you shouldn't have did a love story at all.
Well, the problem is they fell for the whole Raylo stuff.
Yeah,
that was online and whatnot, and all this.
And then that blew up in their face. But
and they just like, oh, this is what the fans want. No, we don't. That was just a few weirdos who wanted that stuff.
Yeah,
the real fans of the movie who wanted, the chemistry. We wanted Finn and Ray. That's what we wanted because it made no sense. They were comfortable. They liked each other. You could tell.
Dude, so they spend so much time together. It's kind of, I feel bad for if they ever get with somebody else and they see each other, they significant other just gonna get ignored. That's how close friends they are. I mean, you see them at like events together, they spend their whole time together.
Yeah, they genuinely enjoy each other's company.
Yeah,
and
so
you can tell when people don't.
Hayden Christensen and Natalie Portman.
Yeah,
but
it was forced.
Yeah, I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, if you're gonna do this, then they have to have some kind of chemistry. You could tell the two of them in even in Apocalypse and even in Dark Phoenix, they did not hang out. You could tell they didn't hang out offset. You could tell, and if they did, I don't know what the hell they talked about because they looked like they were just, it's nice to see you. We acting.
Yeah, we're acting. It's time for acting.
Like I couldn't see it. It's not like I said, it's not like when you see Daisy Ridley and John Boyega yucking it up at the red carpet.
Yeah, and they have like inside jokes, and they were in a panel, and they be laughing at each other for their little inside jokes, and it's just like these people like each other.
Yeah, like I'm sitting like, why y'all sitting them by each other? You know they ain't paying attention to nobody but themselves. Why y'all keep putting them side by side? So, but that's what I'm saying. I'm like, okay, and you're not gonna believe it because
we got to go back and me and you got to do a therapy session on some Star Wars because I got to get some stuff off my chest.
I mean, we can do that. We can do that.
Yeah, we can do that.
We can do that because I do want to do another one with Mandalorian. So, but yeah, we can do that. But that's the thing, and that's the other thing that I know. Like, if you watch this, dude, you're gonna hate. That's one thing that's gonna piss you off because like it's gonna feel like it's like, dude, I don't believe y'all even. I don't even believe y'all follow each other on Twitter.
Yeah. Wow.
I just don't even believe y'all follow each other on Twitter. That's how bad it is. I'm like,
that's the least amount of contact.
Yeah.
I'll follow you on Twitter. We're
so
homies.
I'm like, this ain't working. And then the movie itself at times just felt forced because one, they use aliens, but they're not the Shi'ar.
Mm-hmm.
They use these aliens I've never even heard of. Because I even went back and looked for the comics. They're not in the comics. Because
that's another thing. It's like, are you just gonna jam the Shi'ar in there? Is that really gonna work? Out of nowhere.
Yeah,
because you haven't hinted at aliens at all. At anything this whole time.
That's the other thing about it is because I'm like, dude, the way they doing this, I'm so glad Marvel got this back. I'm so glad because they can actually do, if they want to, they could do any story they want to that Fox touched.
Yeah, now you can.
That any one of them that Fox touched because Fox did not do any of the stories properly.
Yeah.
They can do Days of
none of this
Future
ever
Past.
happened.
Yeah, they can actually do Days of Future Past if they wanted to. They can actually do God Loves Man Kills if they wanted to. They can actually do Apocalypse and freaking Phoenix and Dark Phoenix if they want to. Fox didn't do it right.
Yeah,
they just did.
I have a feeling they won't do Days though.
They probably won't.
Again, it was very highly liked by audiences, and
but
so I
didn't
think
have
they
that
won't
feel.
Do that one. But they can, I know what you're saying, but I just think they won't touch that one. But they can easily touch all the other ones you're talking about, like, because those were poorly represented.
Poorly. Because the one I really want them to do, the one that I really think they would do, that I knew Fox was never going to touch, just because if you did this storyline, it's going to make people look twice at Fox News. Operation Zero Tolerance. The one where the Sentinel was racist.
Right. Oh yeah.
It was the Army general that died, and they made him a Sentinel, and so he started turning other homeless veterans into Sentinels. So as soon as they came into contact with a mutant, they turned into Sentinels. That's the thing. Like, I'm like, if you would have used the Prime Sentinels, that would have made sense. That way, you don't have to spend that much money on CG because the Prime Sentinels are just humans with the Sentinel uniform on once they come into contact with a mutant. So they could have did Operation Zero Tolerance. The problem was if you do Operation Zero Tolerance, there's the Friends of Humanity and there's other entities that sound a lot like Fox News.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure Fox was like, "Yeah, I ain't doing that."
He ain't gonna embarrass us. We embarrass ourselves.
Basically. So I'm like, but that's one of them that I think if Marvel's looking for stories that they can use for X-Men that can be relevant, Operation Zero Tolerance is one of them.
Yeah.
Just because it hits on everything. It hits on the racism. It hits on how we treat veterans. It hits on a lot of stuff that you could do at least 2 movies off of. At least. And on top of that, if you get a good actor to play Bastion, you don't have to kill Bastion because he can't really die because he's a Sentinel. He's a program.
Right.
So you can't really
that would
kill
totally
him.
work.
So that's the thing. I know people like the Fox movies because they like, oh, they gave us rated R superhero movies. They didn't want to though.
Like that's something new, and I hate that these movies are getting credit for that. Again, there was a movie called Blade back in '98 that was giving you rated R superhero movies. And I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like all this stuff that they'd be talking. It's like, well, we already did that. You want credit for something that's already been done, man.
And don't bring that up because then they get mad. Well, Blade just wasn't that good of a movie. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, come on.
Okay, whatever.
Blade and Blade 2 are great films.
Yeah. And I will give Blade 3 the end of Blade. The end of Blade 3 was actually pretty good. The last 30 minutes, the big fight, that was good.
Really? I couldn't stop laughing at how Dracula looked the whole time.
Oh, you talking about when he now when he was a regular human, I was fine with that. But you're right, when he turned into
I wasn't fine with being a regular human.
But it was better than, I know. It was better than what they turned him into.
Well, that's true. But the Dracula I know looks nothing like the guy from what's the escape show?
Prison Break.
Prison Break. Like no. Yeah, like.
But I liked aspects of it, mostly having to do with Ryan Reynolds actually playing Deadpool.
He's not some thick 5'8" guy. Dracula is a wiry, tall, skinny, seductress type of looking dude. Yeah, like
it's Australian.
Right.
But you have to you have to understand we've got our first look at Deadpool in that movie.
That is true. That's the best thing that came out of that movie.
Ryan Reynolds and Triple H. Ryan Reynolds and Triple H actually saved that movie for me.
And you got to give David Gory credit because David Gory would let him go. He would just let Ryan Reynolds go. That's what
he would just let him talk. He would not shut up. I was like, that's Deadpool. I was like, he's playing Deadpool.
He's like, Wesley Snipes is mad. He don't want to do almost anything in this movie, which I don't blame why Wesley Snipes is being mad. I totally understand because David Goyer was not a director. Well, not only
they were trying to push him out to push the thing is nobody and Ryan Reynolds stuff.
Nobody liked the script. Nobody
did.
The only reason David Goyer got the movie is because he was the last man left.
Because nobody would do
the movie because nobody wanted to do it because the script was stupid. And
Stephen Norrington wasn't going to come back because they didn't want to pay him.
Right. Well, no, he saw the script and he said, "I'm not doing that shit." Because they asked him.
Well, didn't he want to make changes to it and they wouldn't let him change it?
Yeah, they wanted him to change it.
Yeah.
Because it was supposed to be like a post-apocalyptic kind of storyline, and
where they actually took over.
The studio was like, "Oh no, this is too dour. This is too, how they do."
Yeah,
this is too much of a downer.
But
it's a vampire movie.
Like it's supposed to be a downer, but the thing is, they had three characters in there that to me actually worked, and that was Parker Posey, Triple H, and Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, that was another person they gave more screen time to, more scripts to. They actually wrote stuff for Triple H.
Yeah, because he was supposed to died in the first beginning of the movie.
Yeah, he was supposed to be going out. He's supposed to be going quick, but he was so likable and so good.
And everybody liked his rapport with Ryan Reynolds, so they were like, "Nah, dude, you got to stay." So he wound up staying.
Those two were hilarious.
Yeah, together they was awesome, dude. Because basically Triple H was playing his heel character from WWF. That's basically what he was doing. And Ryan Reynolds was annoying him the whole movie.
Right.
Like he annoys Hugh Jackman in real life right now. So just man. And that's one of those things. So I'm like, dude, we got our first look at Deadpool. I'm like, that's how this worked. But that was a horrible movie. But I did like I said, I did like the last 30 minutes, but that was mostly because of Triple H and Ryan Reynolds. I mean, Jessica Biel was horrible in that movie. I did not like her at all.
She was miscast. She was she was a face in the body.
Yeah,
pretty much. They didn't give her much to do.
She was the it girl at the time too.
Yeah, she was the it girl. So it was not her fault.
Yeah,
but she didn't get a whole lot to do. It's like, oh, I'm gonna wear an iPod while I fight, which is the dumbest thing you could ever do because you need to hear.
And on top of that, you're wearing the wired ones, which means they're gonna get. Never mind.
It looks cool though. It looks cool that she's rocking wired. iPods. Like, come on. She needs a
Yeah.
playlist to fight.
Yeah,
It's the stupidest thing.
it was the stupidest. Yeah,
It's so stupid.
yeah,
Oh man. But
yeah.
yeah,
So
that's a whole nother one, I think.
yeah, that's a whole nother
Episode.
hour of that's a whole nother therapy session.
The Blade trilogy.
Yeah,
It'll be mostly good, but when you get to that third one, good God.
yeah. But yeah, that's why I had to get some stuff off my chest, people, about this as an X-Men fan. Going on about 20 plus years now, because I started reading X-Men in like 92. And it's still my favorite comic. Even though they are really trying my patience with letting all these different people write for it, they ain't got no business writing anything.
Yeah, I don't know what Marvel's doing right now.
Yeah. So, I mean, but it's still one
Marvel
of my
Comics, not the movie.
Marvel Comics.
Comics.
The movie side's fine, but yeah. Marvel Comics, they losing their mind. But
yeah,
I had to get this off my chest for this particular one, just because I despise Bryan Singer and Simon Kinberg. And I'm sick and tired of hearing people say, "Oh, well, Simon Kinberg, nobody knows more about the X-Men than Simon Kinberg."
How does this guy keep getting work?
Yeah, that's the real question. That's the real question.
That's
I'm like,
cronyism going on or something. He got some photos on somebody.
On somebody. So
something's not right here.
Yeah. So I don't like the fact that he was able
Isn't
to do
he with
this.
Star Trek right now?
I don't know where he is now. Because he's not going to. I don't see him. They ain't letting him nowhere near the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's not happening.
You better stay away from DC too. But you know what? I don't know. What's the name? Mike tried to bring him in.
Who?
J.J. Abrams.
Oh yeah, he might. I mean, because ain't J.J. Abrams supposed to get a DC movie?
Yeah, he's supposed to. They were talking about him doing the next Superman.
Well, I know Ava DuVernay's doing the New Gods movie, which I'm actually looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, me too.
So, I mean, yeah, but I hope they don't get Simon Kinberg, because that junk ain't gonna work. I mean, it'll probably be better than what David Goyer was doing.
But
David
studios they like their guys. They like those studio guys, the ones who listen to what they say
and do what they say.
Do what they say, right?
Yeah.
And he's a studio guy. That's why he keeps getting work.
Well, I mean,
can be trash, but as long as you listen to what you're told to do, you just collect your paycheck.
Yeah,
that's all they want.
Oh, jeez. But yeah, I mean, well, it'll probably be better than David Goyer and that stupid don't save me, save the dog bull crap he did in Man of Steel when he tried to make Superman Batman levels of prudence. So yeah,
so stupid.
Yeah, so I mean, that's probably better than that. But yeah, I have no faith.
Have we talked about that yet? I think we did.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. We talked about the stupidity of that entire, because we talked about how they should have did it like it was in the comic book to make it make more sense.
Right.
That was like one of the times they should have just did, because in the comic, if y'all don't know, in the comic, Jonathan Kent actually dies of a heart attack, and there's nothing Clark can do about it.
Right.
He sees his heart. He sees it. He looks inside of him, and he can't save him.
Yeah, I mean, that is a big emotional scene. Like, I know they wanted a big emotional scene. You can still have a big emotional scene there and show your boy's range, Henry Cavill's acting abilities.
Henry Cavill actually has range. People don't know it. I'm like, he actually has range. So, but yeah, that's why I stay worried a little bit about that, because I'm not worried. I'm not worried as far as it goes to like Marvel, because to me, Marvel proved that they, even when they have a dud, it's not a dud on the level of what
to make you mad.
Yeah, to make me mad. It's just like,
it's just okay. That was an okay movie.
That was just an okay movie, but to me, they do a good job with their stories, and they actually do a good job of incorporating things, even if they have to change stuff like they did for Civil War. They had to change stuff, but they still took the core themes from the crossover and put it in the movie.
Right.
Fox
not to mention, I don't know if even not to mention Henry Cavill or Clark Kent at that time was supposed to be like 17 years old. Did Henry Cavill look 17 in that scene?
No.
With that 5 o'clock shadow,
they just should have. Well, they should have had. They should have had another actor.
No, here's the thing. They should have saved that scene for like the last minute basically the last scene to shoot in that movie, and
Uh-huh.
the kid who played the
young
I
version
guess
of
the
him.
teenage
Yeah.
Clark,
Yeah.
he had grown like like a full foot, and he was like a young man basically. So they could have used that same actor if they would have
Oh,
just waited.
that's just
Yeah,
what.
because by
Yeah.
the time they got to the end of the shoot, he was like, he had hit puberty. He was like a young man, so he
So
could have
that would
done it. It would
work.
have
Yeah.
worked for him. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was that was the
Yes.
biggest. Maybe I would have accepted a little bit more if I wasn't staring at Henry Cavill trying to play a senior,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, that was just a bad scene, though.
Yeah.
Not a good idea.
When you have something that works in the comic, just use it. Use what works in
Just
the
use it.
comic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were
Because
doing so well up until that point.
because that is actually a scene that actually happens in real life where you could actually say, okay, look, this happens, and how would somebody with super abilities that can do pretty much anything but can't do the one thing he wants to desperately do,
Right.
and it proves to him that he's not a god.
Exactly. That could have been a quiet little moment, nice little scene,
And that's how
character
you have
building
him,
scene.
and that's how you have him say, okay, Zod, I got to stop you because you done lost your mind.
Yep.
And boom, we just fixed the movie. So
it's just like they saw the Donner movie, like we don't want to copy it. Just copy it, bro. Just copy it.
Yeah, just copy it. Yeah.
Do your own thing with it, but you got to do that scene. You got to do it
that
that way.
scene would work. So, okay, people, that's gonna do it for this therapy session. Let us know about the X-Men. Did you like the entirety of the X-Men series? Did you prefer the Deadpool and the Wolverine stuff to the X-Men series? Once again, I don't count the Wolverine series and the Deadpool series in the X-Men stuff because to me they are spin-offs or they're what I like to call side stories out of and not the actual X-Men stuff. So let us know what you thought about it in the comments, and be on the lookout for our next therapy session where we go back to Star Wars. This time with Ms. T. So we will see you guys later. Wakanda forever. Peace out.
Peace.